Every car has its quirks, but some models are so difficult to work on that even seasoned US mechanics groan when they roll into the shop. Tight engine bays, fragile electronics, and designs that make simple repairs take hours. These cars may be popular on American roads, but they're dreaded behind the wrench. From luxury SUVs loaded with overcomplicated wiring to everyday pickups that require tearing half the truck apart just to change a part, these vehicles rack up massive labor bills. It's not always about the cost of the part, it's the time it takes to reach it. And in the US, where shop rates can run $120 an hour or more, that's where the pain really hits. So today, we're counting down 10 popular cars that mechanics hate working on. If your ride is on this list, just know, it's not personal. It's your design engineers that left mechanics muttering under their breath and billing you for every extra hour. Number 10. Mini Cooper. The Mini Cooper looks fun and playful on US roads, but ask a mechanic to pop the hood on a turbo model and the fun ends fast. The engine bay is so cramped it feels like everything was stuffed in with a shoehorn. Jobs that should be quick, like replacing a water pump, turn into all-day projects. Timing chains and turbo fixes are especially dreaded, thanks to heat buildup that stretches chains, cooks plastics, and causes oil leaks in places nearly impossible to reach without tearing down the front end. One American mechanic joked that working on a Mini is like doing surgery through a mailbox slot. And he's not wrong. Labor bills often skyrocket past $2,000 to $3,000 for repairs that would cost half that on a Civic. Owners love the Mini's driving personality, but routine service leaves shops groaning and wallets lighter. And while the Mini is hated for being too small to work on, the next vehicle frustrates mechanics for the exact opposite reason. Big, heavy, and built like a marathon of labor. Number 9. Ford F-150. The Ford F-150 is America's best-selling vehicle, a fixture from job sites to Walmart lots. But under the hood, the 3.5-liter EcoBoost gives mechanics headaches. On paper, it's brilliant. Twin turbos, strong towing, solid mileage. In reality, it's buried in an engine bay so cramped that every job becomes a fight. Reaching the turbos means pulling off layers of piping and heat shields. Cooling system fixes that should be simple take hours. Even spark plugs feel like a battle thanks to tight clearances. When major issues hit, timing chain stretch, turbo failure, or intercooler problems, labor hours pile up, and at US shop rates, bills often soar past $3,000 to $4,000. The irony? With the F-150 being the most common truck in America, mechanics see them constantly. They can't avoid them, but they sure wish they could. And if the F-150 is hated for being too complex, the next car proves you don't need turbos or tech to torture mechanics. Sometimes quirky design alone is enough. Number 8. Chrysler PT Cruiser. The Chrysler PT Cruiser was sold as a retro throwback, a quirky design that stood out in traffic. But for US mechanics, working on one feels more like punishment than service. The biggest problem is packaging. Even simple jobs like spark plugs or alternators require pulling off multiple components first. What should take an hour often turns into 3 or 4. Bigger repairs are even worse. Timing belt or head gasket jobs feel like threading a needle with oven mitts on. Shops often deliver labor estimates higher than the car's actual value, leaving owners stunned. Since PT Cruisers usually sell for just a couple $1,000s, a $1,500 repair makes little sense. No wonder mechanics groan when one rolls into the bay. As one tech put it, you don't fix a PT Cruiser, you wrestle with it. And while the PT is hated for its cramped chaos, the next SUV on our list frustrates techs in a totally different way, with fragile electronics that turn diagnostics into ghost hunts. Number 7. Cadillac Escalade. Few vehicles scream American luxury like the Cadillac Escalade. Bold, flashy, and a status symbol on US roads, it's adored by owners, but dreaded by mechanics. The problem? Fragile electronics and complex systems that turn simple fixes into diagnostic marathons. Take the suspension. Many Escalades use magnetic ride or air setups. Smooth on the road, brutal in the shop. A single strut can cost over $1,000, and replacing a full set runs higher than some used cars. Then there's the electronics. Packed with sensors, cameras, and power features, the Escalade often forces techs to spend hours chasing wiring faults before even touching a tool. Even routine service is slowed by layers of trim and covers built for style, not accessibility. Many US mechanics admit they'd rather service 3 pickups than wrestle with one Escalade's gremlins. For owners, every shop visit feels like rolling dice on how painful the bill will be. And if the Escalade drowns mechanics in luxury complexity, the next car proves that even American muscle can be torture when design trumps practicality. Number 6. Chevrolet Camaro. The Chevrolet Camaro is pure American muscle. Long hood, roaring engines, and head-turning style. But for mechanics, that dream car turns into a headache the second the hood pops. The problem isn't power, it's packaging. Style was prioritized over serviceability, so even basic work is a fight. Spark plugs, On some V8s, techs have to loosen engine mounts or drop exhaust parts just to reach the back cylinders. What should be a quick job can eat half a day. It doesn't stop there. Exhaust manifolds, valve cover gaskets. Many require removing layers of components. Tight spaces leave mechanics scraped up and swearing, while labor costs climb into the hundreds. At U.S. shop rates, routine Camaro repairs feel anything but routine. Mechanics joke Chevy built the Camaro first and figured out maintenance later. On the road, it's thrilling, but in the shop, it's pure frustration. And if tight engine bays cause curses, the next truck proves oversized heavy-duty parts can be just as torturous. Number 5. Dodge Ram 2500. The Ram 2500 with a Cummins diesel is legendary in America. Farmers trust it, contractors rely on it, and diesel fans brag about it. But mechanics? They dread it. Not because it fails often, but because when it does, every job feels like a war with sheer size and weight. The Cummins engine is massive. Swapping injectors or fuel pumps means hours of teardown before reaching the part. Turbo replacements often require special equipment just to maneuver components. Even basics like starters or transmissions are so heavy that shops need hoists or extra hands just to move them safely. Labor time, not parts, drives the bill sky high. Jobs that might cost hundreds on a half-ton truck can soar into the thousands on a Ram 2500. Some techs joke it's more like working on a semi-truck than a pickup. On the road, the Cummins is bulletproof. In the shop, it's backbreaking, and while heavy-duty muscle makes this truck exhausting to service, the next SUV proves over-engineered European luxury can empty wallets just as fast. Number 4. Volkswagen Touareg. The Volkswagen Touareg was VW's attempt to give Americans a taste of European luxury SUV life. And yes, it looked sharp, felt refined, and came loaded with tech. But for US mechanics, the Touareg represents the dark side of German engineering. A layout so overcomplicated that even routine jobs feel like they require an engineering degree from Munich. Take the cooling system. Replacing a water pump, a repair that's fairly straightforward on most SUVs, can mean hours of labor on a Touareg because of the way components are stacked and buried. Timing chain issues? They're located at the back of the engine, which means pulling the motor out just to get access. That's the kind of design choice that makes mechanics sigh before they even grab a wrench. Then there's the electronics. Packed with sensors, control modules, and high-end features, the Touareg often becomes a diagnostic nightmare. When something fails, the bill isn't just for parts. It's for the hours of chasing down wiring problems hidden behind panels and dashboards. Owners love the way the Touareg drives, but mechanics hate what it takes to keep them on the road. Labor times are high, parts aren't cheap, and shop rates in the US make every visit sting. If the Touareg is the poster child for over-engineering, the next vehicle proves that even a humble family minivan can earn mechanics' scorn when its transmission and cramped layout turn every repair into a headache. Number 3. Honda Odyssey. The Honda Odyssey has long been one of America's favorite family minivans. You'll find them in suburban driveways from coast to coast, loaded with kids, groceries, and sports gear. On paper, it's the perfect family hauler, reliable, practical, and built for the long haul. But ask the mechanics who actually service them, and you'll hear a very different story. The Achilles heel is the transmission. Many Odysseys, especially older generations, developed chronic issues, slipping gears, delayed shifts, or full-on failures that left parents stranded on the way to school drop-off. Swapping a transmission isn't cheap, and in the Odyssey's tight layout, it's a labor-heavy job that racks up serious bills. Even routine repairs are tougher than they should be. The engine bay is notoriously cramped, making jobs like replacing spark plugs or alternators far more time-consuming than on other vans. Add in failing motor mounts, problematic power sliding doors, and electronics that misbehave as the miles climb, and the Odyssey becomes a lot less easygoing for those under the hood. For families, the Odyssey is beloved. For mechanics, it's dreaded, because what should be straightforward family car maintenance often turns into long, frustrating hours of work. And if a minivan manages to give techs headaches, imagine what happens when you combine German luxury with layer upon layer of electronics. That's where our next SUV comes in. Number 2. BMW X5. The BMW X5 is a status symbol on American roads. Luxury SUV looks, sharp handling, and a badge that turns heads. But for mechanics, the X5 isn't a statement piece, it's a migraine on wheels. The problem isn't that it breaks more often than anything else. It's that when it does, the sheer volume of electronics and wiring makes every job a slow grind. Under the hood and behind the panels, the X5 is packed with sensors, modules, and control units. Diagnosing an issue often means hours hooked up to scan tools, chasing gremlins through complex wiring harnesses. A simple misfire or warning light can balloon into an all-day diagnostic session. And when the culprit is buried behind trim or buried deep under the dash, labor hours soar. Even routine work gets messy. Battery replacements can require reprogramming, and changing components like alternators or starters is more complicated than it has any right to be. Air suspension failures are another favorite headache, expensive to fix and time-consuming to track down. Owners love the driving experience, but shop techs across the US know the reality. Every X5 that rolls into the bay means lost time, scraped knuckles, and plenty of swearing. And if German luxury can drive mechanics crazy with over-the-top electronics, the last vehicle on our list manages to frustrate them in a much simpler way, because even basic jobs require tearing the truck apart. Number 1. Chevrolet Colorado. The Chevrolet Colorado is supposed to be the practical, no-nonsense midsize pickup for America. Smaller than a Silverado, easier to park, but still capable enough for work and play. It's the truck that was meant to do it all. But in the shop, the Colorado's V6 models have earned a very different reputation. Deceptively difficult to work on, even for routine jobs. Transmission issues are one of the big culprits. When they crop up, accessing components often means dropping large sections of the drivetrain, a labor-heavy process that drives costs through the roof. Cooling system repairs are no better. Radiator or water pump replacements require tearing down more of the front end than you'd ever expect for a midsize pickup. Even basic maintenance can get messy. Spark plugs and coil packs are buried, hoses snake around in awkward ways, and what should be a 2-hour job often balloons into 4 or 5. At US shop rates, that's hundreds of extra dollars in labor before the part cost is even factored in. Mechanics say they'd take a full-size Silverado over a Colorado any day. At least the bigger trucks give you room to work. For owners, the Colorado delivers versatility and daily usability. For mechanics, it's proof that sometimes smaller and simpler is just a myth. And that's why this unassuming midsize pickup earns a top spot among the vehicles American mechanics secretly hate to see roll into the bay. So there you have it. 10 popular cars that make US mechanics groan the second they roll into the shop. Some are tiny and cramped, others are massive and heavy, and a few are so over-engineered with electronics that diagnosing a simple warning light feels like hacking into NASA. The truth is, owning one of these vehicles doesn't mean you'll definitely regret it, but it does mean you'll pay the price when repairs come due. Labor hours in America aren't cheap, and when designs make every job harder, the bills add up fast. That's why knowing what mechanics hate working on can save you both time and money before you buy. Now I want to hear from you. Have you owned one of these mechanics' nightmares? Did you face sky-high repair bills, or do you swear by your car despite the horror stories? Drop your experience in the comments below. Your story could help another American driver think twice. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another countdown. Finally, share this video with a friend or family member who's car shopping. You might just save them from buying a headache on wheels.